is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Shorty Show, where it's random as when I was a child, I really related to SpongeBob, but now as an adult, dude, I'm really starting to understand Squidward. People piss me the fuck off. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I just want to be alone, play my clarinet, and that's it. Just be in peace. Am I wrong?
Your long black clarinet?
Yeah, my long black clarinet. Am I just an asshole? Dude, Squidward, I get it now, and I'm sorry. But with that being said, my co-hosts,
What's up, guys?
Justin Hong, and special guest of the day, Raff Bibbo.
How you doing, everyone?
Raphael, what else? What else you got?
Rafa, Raffy, I hear it all. I know who you're talking to, and I'll always respond.
Did you have any other nicknames besides that?
It started with Raff, so my name's Raphael, and I'm the third. So I got right there a tattoo. So my grandfather, my father, then myself, and it's obviously spiraled into being called all of these different variations that I didn't even know were out there, and it's also based on where I go too. So Spanish people will say Rafa, Raffaele. If I'm around Italians, old school Italians and whatnot, but I just cut it to Raff, so it's just easy. R-A-F-F. Nice to meet you.
Do you have anything short for Justin?
No, I mean, my dad calls me Just, and I got Gibby when I was a fat, short kid. I'm like Harley.
Ah, all right. And I was like, what? I was just called Fat Boy, so it was just straight and direct to the point. That was it. That was it. And then, see, Jose, I get Joe's somehow, just Joe's, Josie, Jose, which is Brazilian. That one I can get. I've been called Joe. Somehow the S is gone. Yeah, I just stick to Shorty, especially in the Mexican neighborhood. Like, fuck that. I don't wanna play it. But you're from Boston.
Yes.
Boston.
Yeah, born and raised.
What brings you all the way to Vegas?
Entertainment is what brings me here. This place is just thriving right now. Las Vegas has 3 movie studios that are being developed as we speak. They just got passed through the county. All the permitting is underway. Sony Pictures, Warner Brothers, and then the Film Factory. So someone like myself who's been kind of banging on the doors of Hollywood for the last 5 to 10 years, I think there's going to be a great opportunity in film. But on top of that, there's so much entertainment here with comedy, music acts, dancing, there's shows, Cirque du Soleil. It's the city's the best.
So usually on my show, or so far, it's been, this is what, number 8?
I believe so, yeah.
8, something like that. I get punched in the head. But with that being said, I have a lot of professional MMA fighters. You are, in a sense, like, you have the blue Corvette in front, but obviously you didn't have the blue Corvette for long. You just got it. Like, what do you do? What makes you so interesting compared to obviously all the MMA fighters here? Like, dude, I seen you. I can't remember. How did we meet, by the way?
We met at Adam Hunter's comedy show.
There you go. Ah, see, I couldn't fucking remember. Because you know so many people. Like, your networking pool is ridiculous. And when we went to that jiu-jitsu competition, you were talking to Dominic Cruz, you were talking to all the other professional MMA fighters there that are high level, and I'm like, dude, I've been in this sport since I was a little kid, and I don't even know them, or I don't have that type of relationship with them. And you're like, hey, what's up, man? You're shaking up with them, hugging them, going out to dinner with them after. Like, how do you build your networking pool so big?
I'm glad you asked that, because I've been told, and people say your network is your net worth. So the amount of people you know is like an extension of yourself. And you're always told to surround yourself with like the 5 people you want to be like the most. I want to be like thousands of people. And I have so many passion projects that it's allowed me to sort of spiderweb out into comedy, theater, acting. And you're talking about fighting. Fighting is so, it's so true to me because I fought 20 years ago. State champion high school wrestler, got some D1 looks, fucked it all up, got into MMA afterwards. It was illegal in the state of Massachusetts and New York when I was fighting. So we had to take what was called like an amateur fight with shin guards, no headgear, but shin guards. And we had to fight in Holiday Inn hotels and old clubs in like Revere. There was a couple guys, Joe Lozon and Kenny Florian were the 2 that made it out from Massachusetts around that time in the early 2000s. So for me, as someone who didn't, fulfill my dreams, I have like fanboy crushes on everyone. So hopefully that doesn't show when I meet all these people, but it's real simple. I feel like just, hey, I'm Raff. I like what you do. Nice to meet you. And then from there, relationships start to develop. And what's great about certain scenes is you see the same people over and over again. And then there's some familiarity that goes in with that.
And it's crazy how big like the MMA community is, but also how small it is. Like you said, you run into them all the time, and it's just like, oh, what's up, man? This is like I haven't seen you.
But also, like he said, he's in the game from early 2000s, 20 years ago, when the game was even that much closer and tight knit.
Yeah, no, fighting like in many ways ruined my life because back in the day, if you were training MMA and taking amateur fights, and let's say you got in like a fist fight outside of a bar, you were a cage fighter, a crazy person. It was really frowned upon.
You're technically also a legal weapon.
Exactly. Registered hands.
Yeah. Like
So-
I technically can't fight anybody unless it's for sure out of self-defense.
Exactly.
So that's why I antagonize him to just punch me in the face. I'm like, you fucking do it. Come on. Like, I do. I was defending myself. It's on camera. I swear to God. But so like for me, I fought in New York. Damn, when did I fight in New York? 2012 or 2013, one of those 2 years. And at the time, it was still technically illegal, at least professional. You can only have amateur fights.
Yeah.
So I remember doing, I can't remember what arena was in front of Madison Square Garden, but that was their niche. They're like, oh yeah, you're fighting at Madison Square Garden in front of it. Like it was just one of the hotels there, but it was cool because it was an amateur event, but it was packed because it's New York. They didn't have it. At least the whole East Coast really looked bad or frowned upon MMA. You know, they're like, we'll do amateur stuff, or like you said, more of the smoker fight type of thing or exhibitions. But there was nothing pro until, a few years back. Now probably like 10, 12 years down. But the fact is, like, it wasn't a thing. People had to travel outside the state and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
Indian reservations is where you had to fight if you wanted a pro fight.
Yeah, actually, one of my fights, the only reason I fought the guy because it was on the Indian reservation because they don't give a fuck. As long as you make money for them, they're happy. Fought a guy who had 16 pro fights and I only had one. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll take him. I beat him, but I was just like, probably shouldn't have happened. But the fact is, so you try MMA, it obviously doesn't work. You network, you do your thing. What's the one thing because sadly, this sport, a lot of people just don't achieve their goal or even as fast as they want to.
Yeah.
So what was that thing where you're like, man, when did you finally know it was time to go, this might not be my career niche?
I was in sales. So I was in my early 20s and I was just getting my career going. And I'm caught in this kind of lost generation in between doing things the real world way, doctor, lawyer, real estate broker, and being an influencer. So there was no making videos and, just holding up a camera and turning a profit from clicks. So I got a sales position and it was selling copy machines, but I was in a suit and tie every day. And the majority of my clientele was lawyers, partners in law firms. Try going and selling a $3,000 copy machine to a lawyer with a black eye and a nose that just kicked to the right because you got punched in the face, right? So I had professionals like the people that own the company and whatnot. They had sat me down. They're like, all right, you got to make a decision. It's either you keep doing what you're doing, training and pursuing this dream of yours, or you make some money and walk the sales life. Yeah. And I folded the hand. And not a day goes by that I don't regret that decision because I couldn't watch it anymore. Like once I stopped doing it, it was like I couldn't even really see other people enjoying it. And then who would have known that 20 years later, it's sanctioned in every state. They're the most respected athletes on the planet, finely tuned. They got their head on their shoulders. It's now just a controlled, beautiful organization that has become mixed martial arts.
Yeah, it's like controlled chaos, like it's nothing but pain and violence, but we're going to sanction some stuff, make sure it's legal. But also a lot of the states are like, wait, we can make a lot of money out of this. All right, fine. We'll bring it in because, especially when you start, and even when I was starting to get into it, MMA, you couldn't go, cool, I want to be a professional MMA fighter. I want to make this my career. Look at Pantoja in the UFC, and this is now, I think he had 11 fights, and he was still working for Uber, in the UFC.
That's right.
Yeah. Part-time, it's like, fuck. Even now, some of the athletes aren't making as much money as what people from the outside see. Because, you understand, you see someone on TV, naturally people are like, oh, man, he must be making some money, or he's on the news, he must be doing this. Like, no, man, I'm broke. Like, even for me, I haven't had a fight since May. I'm more than likely going home and selling my car. I was like, dude, I got to make a living. I want to use that money to possibly invest in something else or buy a house, or because MMA, sadly, you had a choice. You know, you're like, you know what, man, it might not be working for me. Let me go do something else that might, hopefully make me more money in the long term. For me, I've done this so long. Let's say after this interview, I go outside and I get hit by a car. It's like, oh shit. Like the doctor said, I can't fight anymore. What am I going to do? Compared to, I'm already slowly leading a different path, or I have part-time jobs or other full-time jobs, and maybe this is a part-time thing. It gets complicated, So for you, you got into sales. What was the next thing after that? Because now, obviously, you're here in Vegas.
Yeah.
So you went into sales. You were selling copy machines. What expanded from there?
Copy machines to real estate.
Oh, shit. So you just went...
I made that jump.
Let me actually use the paper that's in the copy machine.
Yeah, exactly. To sign contracts and close
Well, it's just that realization that it's pretty much the same job. It's just sales, right?
Yeah.
Why not do the biggest transaction possible for the biggest return?
It takes the same effort to sell a $10 million house as it does a $2 piece of candy.
Exactly.
It really does, right? That's the simplicity of that explanation. So yeah, I got into real estate mostly just so I could have my face on a business card and put it on signs. No, I'm kidding. But
I just want to say I love his accent. The business card. It's like, go ahead, continue.
We
I love
parked the cars down at Harvard Yard while we're selling the
I just want to
houses.
say, do you know Charles Rosa?
I do, yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so Charles
yeah.
Rosa, Boston boy.
Yep.
And then Mickey Ward, Boston boy.
Yes.
It was Mickey's birthday, and I'm with Charles Rosa. We're somewhere overseas, and he decides to FaceTime Mickey because they're really good friends. And Charles, like you and I, we could talk. We understand each other perfectly fine. We're like, accent kicks in every once in a while. Charles and Mickey got on the FaceTime, and dude, it looked like a guy from Finland, a Finnish, and a Scottish person were talking, because it was just like, I know they're speaking English, but I don't understand shit. That they were just going like, Boston, Mickey, just going, and we're like, this is actually really cool to watch. But the accent. But anyways, go ahead, continue from there.
Yeah, no. So got into real estate and made all my money in construction. So I hooked up with a couple different developers that I knew, and my job was to go out and find them buildable properties. And I learned all about zoning, setbacks, frontage, all the different criteria you need for putting a foundation in, and how to subdivide lots. So I found a bunch of multifamily deals. So we'd tear down one house and put back 4. And then I'd sell those houses on the back end. And then that was obviously a stepping stone for me to get into the building side of it. Because when you're doing these transactions, you see where the money goes. I get the HUD at the end of it, and you're like, okay, this person got this much, this person got this much, and Raff got that much.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's like I got to get into building. So I went, and let this be the best advice I could give anyone that's listening to your podcast. Use your time efficiently. When the pandemic hit, I was watching everyone else watching television. I think it was, I don't know if it was one of those fantasy shows. I'm drawing a blank. Not like a Dungeons and Dragons. I'm almost embarrassed that I can't think of the name. That's
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones. Thank you so much. And sorry for not coming to that right away. I remember some of my friends were like, bro, did you see all those Game of Thrones episodes? I'm like, what, all like 100 hours of that? I'm like, no, I didn't. Because what I was doing at that time, and no disrespect to anyone that wasn't doing things like this, but I double licensed. I got my broker's license in real estate and my builder's license, because I used at that time where I was stuck indoors to hit the books and to study, something I never did in my teens and 20s. But I took it as an opportunity to get smarter and better. And what it did was, when the pandemic ended, I leveled up my life entirely. And I came out with something instead of nothing.
Yeah.
So that was big. And then I built 5 properties I did on my own, start to finish. And this was also fantastic too, was my first build that I did, I didn't have my license at the time. So I went into a bank, and this is where sales comes in and being a good guy and networking. I was like, hey, can I talk to the vice president of the bank? Like, what? I was like, yeah, I want to talk to the vice president, whoever's in charge of signing off on these construction notes. Sat down with them. I'm like, hey, I'm Raff. Nice to meet you. I've never built a house before, but here's my portfolio. These are all the properties that I have sold. These are the developers I work with. I have a whole list of subcontractors. This is what I have in the bank. This is how long I have to get this project done. I have it tied up. Will you back me? And those conversations, that opened up a whole nother door, right? So now I have a bank behind me, and then from there, doing business got really easy. So now credit checks aren't a problem. Your tax returns aren't a problem, right? If you have good quality lending, then you can get into these positions where now I'm buying and flipping properties. So, like I said, it was all just this like stepping stone where, and I'll use this again as, you know, a nice little lesson for everyone. The restaurant industry was a beautiful way for me to cut my teeth as a kid. I started as a host at 15 years old before I got my license. Then I started doing takeout. Then I started waiting tables. Then I was bartending. Then I was shift supervising. So everything I've done in my life, and at the times I'm starting off from scratch, I'm always like tearing my hair out. I'm like, why am I starting over in whatever position it is?
Oh, it sucks.
It does, because you're the small fish in the big pond.
Yeah.
Anytime you do something new. But I embrace that, and we'll sort of segue that into some of the other passion projects that you see me doing. But I enjoy being the new guy, starting over, and just kind of going up that ladder. It's rewarding when you accomplish, and that's the only way you can, because, you know, no one's going to give you the ball.
Yeah.
You know, the first day you walk on the field.
Yeah, you gotta slowly go up every single level. You can't play Super Mario, go to the first level, go straight to Bowser. You have to get through your way there, because if not, if you go straight there, dude, it's like, you ever play Legend of Zelda?
Nope.
No? Fuck. In Breath of the Wild, it's an adventure game, but it's an open world game. If you want to go straight to the final boss, you can, but that's gonna really suck because you're not equipped.
Yeah.
The longer you play the game, you get more tools, this, that, more health. But so you have to play the game, or at least that's what you're supposed to do. But if you go straight to it, more than likely you're gonna get fucked. There's some people who are lucky and phenomenally skilled, but more than likely that's not gonna happen. So
You got to be ready for your blessing, right?
yeah, well, we hope. I mean, I keep on telling that to people, but I'm still here. Anywho, no. But the fact is, so you're doing all these things. What are some of the side projects that you're doing? Because that's the cool thing, is that immediately you go, MMA is not gonna work well for me. Let me do this. All right, I'm fine, but I don't want to be. I'm never content. I want to move up. And so you start doing all these crazy things. You start, again, COVID hit. You start studying. You start hitting the books, and have all these licenses. Yes. And you're doing all that stuff, and you're pushing through. What are some of the side projects that you do too? That you're like, you know what? I'm cool with this, and I'm still pursuing this, but I also want to be happy and have some fun.
Yeah. So all forms of entertainment. I love every aspect of entertainment. I don't care if it's a comedy show, a Broadway play. I'm gonna go check it out. I love it. I think it's such an escape from this, reality that we're in, that it's a beautiful thing. So I love stand-up comedy. I got into that in the last 4 or 5 years, a little bit more serious. I started it a little bit before the pandemic, but then the world kind of stopped. Comedy's hard. It's probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. So fortunately for me, I get this thing where I have no fear or anxiety in life. Right? I don't understand what that is, but I deal with shame and embarrassment. So that's the other side to that coin, is that you can have no fear and you can get on stage in front of a couple hundred people, but if you suck and bomb, there's no lifeline.
Yeah.
There's no one to throw you the raft.
Throw me a spear.
Yeah,
It's like, it doesn't work.
Exactly.
And sadly, you can get canceled very fast in comedy.
Did you say that for a reason, or do you
No,
know
I mean,
my story?
that's also another reason why I haven't done stand-up comedy, because I'm too raunchy and I'll say some really fucked up shit.
I got canceled in Boston.
Oh, there you go.
How do you
2
get
years
canceled
ago.
in Boston?
I got canceled in Boston for doing an entire trans pride comedy set during Pride Month.
Were you in Boston
well,
University
it's their
campus
Pride
or
Month, probably
something?
why.
It was just at a restaurant called Capo's, and I was like, you know what? I want to be edgy. So I wrote a whole 5-minute set, and it was very clever. None of it was mean. It was very, very.
There's a good play on words, all that stuff.
It's huge. Just play on words, make you think a little bit. And I do this set, and of course, to crickets. And people wanted to laugh. That's the one thing I know what's happening right now in today's society.
The whole
yeah, exactly. Looking around to see if it's okay to laugh. So yeah, I did a whole.
It was the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith thing where Chris Rock said a joke and Will was like, ha ha. Oh shit! Nope, gotta smack you.
Yeah, keep my wife's.
Yeah,
Exactly. Only no one came up and smacked me, thank
good
God.
thing, yeah.
But yeah, I just couldn't book shows after that.
Really?
People that I was opening for weren't returning my phone calls. Yeah,
Oh,
it
snap.
went around. It went around the town. So and it probably didn't help that I shared it, online. And just hey, everyone, take a look at that.
I'm gonna double down.
What was the line that you think kind of crossed the line?
Well,
was
our
there
show's
anything that
about to
crossed
get
the line?
canceled.
Oh, it opens up with me telling a story about going to the sperm donation, but my nurse was a man and had an Adam's apple. And then there's like some Adam's apple jokes, but it ends, and that's the beautiful segue through the show, is it ends with me coming in the cup, and then the nurse that is the man drank it. So I had to refill the cup and do it all over again. So and then I stopped back. Well, so the other day I was at the bank, right, and there's like a whole bunch of good jokes within there. But so I we'll have to share that in the link for this podcast.
Oh,
so
that'd actually be
people
really
can
funny.
Tune into it.
That'd be really funny. We're about to get canceled too. This is great. No, I'm surprised we're not canceled yet. Wait till the Cameron Else episode pops. That probably.
That might be it.
That was a fun one. It was worth it while it lasted.
Yeah.
But you know what? So you do comedy. What's after comedy?
I dance in a meal review show on the weekends.
So you're doing that now here, right?
Yes. Yeah. For Hunnam Mania. Yup.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's the most fun I've ever had because you get to peek behind a world you didn't know existed, right? Like women are supposed to be proper and beautiful, and they're not supposed to scream and grab and break character. So I'm like in this world where I get to see them all like kind of behave this way.
Yeah.
But I'm not a guy watching them do that because I'm part of the show.
Yeah.
That makes sense the way I word it like that. But it's just exciting. It's music, it's dancing, it's partial nudity. It's a lot of fun.
So partial nudity. So you're not
Partial
like
nudity.
flailing out there doing your thing, whatever.
Nope.
Or the thing's doing its thing. But
G-string would be the most.
have you ever
fun.
seen? You ever seen that '70s show where Katie goes to like a male strip club and this guy's like dancing in front of her and she's just wasted. She's like, because she's so proper on the show. So that's exactly what I'm imagining. Where what's the craziest thing that's happened? Wow, that either has happened to you or that you've seen that women have done during these shows.
They just pull out their
So
their
they're
breasts and-
stripping too, pretty much.
Yeah, they just get in the moment. They get in the moment. I just like, pull out the breast and like just start touching themselves, right? I'd say that's the most extreme,
Have you ever seen an orgasm in the club?
I don't know. I don't know if I have. I don't think so. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie and say, oh yeah, I give it all the time. Yeah, just last Tuesday.
It's like, he's good at edging, man. There you go. They do the job from there.
Yeah.
Huh. That's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah. My act is it's different though because and we talked about different things that I do for passion projects. I got into CrossFit after fighting.
Yeah.
So I learned how to like walk on my hands and do all these like crazy gymnastics and backflips and things like that. So I put that in my routine. So it's more of a gymnastics routine to music than it is dancing.
Dude, I just, again, like, another reason why I wanted to have you in the show is that, like, it just hops. Like, it's like, okay, cool, state champion wrestler. I'm trying to do MMA, doesn't work. I'm selling copy machines. Now I'm building and selling houses. Now I'm dancing inside the club. It's just like, it's super random. And everyone somehow, like, oh, you're doing comedy, you get canceled. Now you're dancing inside the club. It's just like, it's literally this. You're just like, fuck it, I'm just rolling with it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, oh, well, life's over and I can't do this and I'm going to go work a 9-to-5 job. You're like, fuck it, dude, I'm going to do other stuff. And whatever I do, I'm going to try my best to be as good as I possibly can at it.
Yeah.
No matter if it's, again, selling, dancing, fighting, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
How are you able to still take all those swings though? Like, do you still hold a lot of real estate?
Yeah, so I saved a bunch of money inadvertently. The last flip I did, so okay, in real estate, you can take an equity line on your home and then you can use that money to buy another property. So I just did that over and over and over again. So I never had my own money. And I never knew how much money I really had because it was just constantly going into these deals. The last flip I did, I got burned on it pretty bad. I took all my chips off the table. So I'm kind of cash rich right now, and I can take those swings.
Nice.
But it's a conservative and calculated effort to party just as hard as I work, right? And to make my time organized where I can chase down passion projects, but I'm not missing an open house. I can, dance at the club, but I'm not missing a meeting. I've never missed a meeting. I've never missed a meeting, and I've never been late.
Yeah.
I don't even use a calendar, right? I just keep it like kind of in here. And back to what you're saying about how do you, why do you? I'm trying to squeeze every drop of lemon out of this thing called life. That's my goal. I'm here. We're not gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
I'm here to have as much fun as I can and to be the best dude I can be at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on that, every day. So that it makes it easy to meet people.
Yeah.
Once you now. Have I gotten into any of the? We talked a little bit about your shirt, and we'll at some point have to show the back of your shirt, the third eye, the seat of the soul, the creator of all creators is what they say, right? So I was going through this law of attraction phase, and if you haven't heard of it, I don't want to get all woo-woo hippie-ish, but it's basically you create your own reality with your thoughts, and if you focus good intention, you can bring that into your world. So I made a motivational video. This is back in 2017. This is when I knew dreams can come true.
Yeah.
I made a motivational video, and I called it the greatest pump-up video of all time. And we'll share the link to it. I painted my face like the Terminator, and I did a bunch of Arnold scenes. And I told a bunch of my friends, and I'm like, yo, I'm going to make a movie, and I'm going to get into a Hollywood movie. I got no acting experience. I've never done anything like this before. My friend's like, yeah, okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I make this movie, put it on the internet, kind of makes the rounds. Get a call from a casting agency in Boston, the Broken Lizard guys, the ones that did the Super Troopers movies.
Yeah. Oh,
saw
shit.
it, loved it, brought me in to read lines. Got a call a couple months later, got put in the movie, and that's what started this whole pursuit of entertainment. I made the final cut. I was featured. I shot a scene with Rob Lowe. I got an agent in New York, and I pretty much did a loop of classes and photo shoots and casting directors and here's another lesson to everyone out there in entertainment, which I'm still pursuing. I was actually on an audition yesterday for a kids movie. I'll tell you a little bit more about it afterwards. But one of the things that sort of took the wind out of my sails when I was trying to be this big movie star was the first question some of these casting directors asked me, and I read for some big roles. They were like, hey, so Raff, how many Instagram followers do you have? And I was like, what? I was like, oh, I'm Meisner trained. I do method acting. I studied under this guy, Stan Lofsky. I'm part of the actors group, What do you care how many Instagram followers I have? So that was like a huge wake-up call to me at that time, and I'll circle back to when I talked about being part of that lost generation. In my 20s, instead of trying to be an actor, I was trying to get on the Jersey Shore or the real world. And then when I was trying to be an actor, I should have been making YouTube videos and being an influencer. So it's like I feel like I'm always,
a step behind, right? Trying to catch up.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck. Damn it. I get it, dude. I got short legs. I'm always a step behind.
Yeah, nice. But you can change that now. We live in a wild
I can get taller.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, dude, I can get taller. Actually, so when I was a teenager, I know there's a surgery to do it, right? It's like they put metal in your femur bone or whatever.
They break your leg.
Yeah, they break your leg and make you taller.
Bone grows in.
But when I was a kid, they would offer steroid shots. They're like, oh, dude, you have the hormones for it. They just won't activate. I don't know. Your genetics suck, but they're there. And I'm like, huh, and the doctor's like, yeah, you can be probably up to 5'9". And I was like, oh, shit, I can be the tallest one in my family because everyone gets 5'5" and shorter. I'm 5'4". And I was like, oh, I do the test. And they're like, yeah, you want to do it? And I was just like, I like the nickname Shorty. No, I don't want to do it. So I never did it. Now, my best friend took it, and he's 5'8". And I was like, I fucking hate you. I kind of wish I would have done it. But my life would have been very, very different.
Yeah.
Because, again, like you said, with networking, I'm the same way. That's, again, how we met each other and got along so well is because I'm short as well. This helps. I'm unique because of my height, and I'm proud to say I'm shorty and this and that compared to if I was an average height guy, I'd be an average guy trying to stand out in a whole different way. And I think it'd make things a lot harder.
Like Messi, Lionel Messi, he did HGH and steroids and he was a kid.
Fuck that guy.
But that was in my mind.
My head would have been average size though, because my head is average size, but because I got a small body, so that's the only thing that would have been different. But to me, I think I'm more popular because I'm short. Than if I were average height, and I would definitely have changed my life. It would have been very different, but I think my height has made me the person I am in a very positive way, hopefully.
Maybe all your hormones went to your head.
Or somewhere else, I hope. But, it all depends on the day.
The waist to the shins?
Yeah, there you go. So I want to apply for that dancing routine as well. You were telling me that dancing is a whole different world now, because now you're doing the routines.
Yeah, so, okay. I'm trying to get in with the Magic Mike guys. I've been in touch with them. It's a whole nother level. So I dance for Hunnam Mania and I freestyle. So I get 20 minutes to myself. So
Oh,
I
shit.
make up my routine as I go. I
Dude,
have
20 minutes is a long time.
real long time. That's where the gymnastics come in. I'll walk on my hands 30 feet across the stage, and worm backwards.
Yeah.
And that like
That's like what, like 45 seconds? What do you do
Yeah,
for the
it's
rest of
like,
the 19
fuck,
minutes
yeah, I
and 15
know.
seconds?
Well, I'm thinking in my head
stuff like this.
Yeah,
and
just-
yeah.
the
I like it.
The
I
whole
like it.
Olympic
I like
thing,
it.
get on the floor.
You have me. I was like, okay, I'm buying in.
Yeah. Like, you know what? I'll try it.
Yeah. So the freestyling aspect of it is so much easier because you're in your own world and you're just on your own metronome and your own tempo. But then once you try to do group choreography, which I learned I wasn't as good at as I was hoping I was, I realized, back to what you just said, a step behind. So when you're learning choreography, people that know it and are fluent, they're just on beat every time, every quarter beat, whatever it is. And I felt like I feel like I'm always a step behind. So yeah, the choreography that like the Magic Mike show has, there'll be 12 guys and they do these different cross patterns on the stage. And when you watch it from a distance, it is flawless. It is absolutely perfect. And
Until you're on stage.
yeah.
It's like, dude, what's that one guy doing? That one guy. No, it's you ever see the Chinese videos where they're doing like, it's like they have the kids do a routine and they're literally doing that and you're just like, oh man, it's a Chinese school for
Or like,
sure.
a marching band during like
Yeah.
a college football game at halftime.
And
Yeah.
one person messes up, it's like a domino effect.
It's a bunch of tubas all over the ground.
you remember the shark, the Katy Perry shark from
Yeah,
the awards show?
yeah.
That's
Everyone, you're the shark, dude. Everyone noticed, but the shark got famous. No one knows the other shark. Just hear me out. No one remembers the other shark. You're unique, and I admire that. That's just me.
Bet he's doing some interviews right now.
Oh yeah,
I was a left shark.
in the shark outfit.
Put one fin up. Yeah.
So you're right now the shark. How much, I guess, practice you have to put into that to get that all? Because for me, for example, I used to acting as well. Improv or this is easy to me, or much easier. You give me a script, dude, it sounds at times like I'm reading.
Yeah.
So I can just imagine with choreography where it's like, cool, worst comes to worst, I can figure out something, or even bullshit 20 minutes of dancing. Oh, wait, I got to do this, and if I mess up, it might mess up everything else. There's so much added pressure to that. How does that make you feel at all?
It's the first time that I felt like I'm letting a team down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Because every other, we fight, we wrestle. That's team sport, but it's individual. Your opponent is yourself and the one guy in front of you. That's all you got to worry about. Here, it's very easy to let other people down. And that, I don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
So, like everything, I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to practice a couple days a week, and I'm going to get better at it. And it's like anything. I imagine, the 10,000 hour rule. It takes 10,000 hours to be an expert at anything. So I just got to log my hours.
Were you telling me last time when you first kind of got this, opportunity that you were able to meet Channing Tatum?
I did. What an outstanding stand-up guy.
I know you saw the movie, Magic Mike.
I've seen bits and pieces. I've never watched the whole thing.
I fucking knew it. But Channing Tatum's in it, as you already know, as you have seen
I
parts.
know.
He is
I
Magic
know.
Mike.
As you've seen parts. But you were able to meet
Seen
him.
his parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that was a good one. That was a good one. Caught me off guard. All
Yeah,
right.
it was quick. It was right outside the venue.
Oh,
Just,
shit.
hey, nice to meet you. That was great. I said, I love your work. I said, thank you for everything. I also, what I like to do too is, and this isn't like kissing people's asses. I mean this because he is one of my idols. I don't use the word hero, right? I'll
Yeah.
use the word idol. I was like, yo, bro, thank you for being a stud. Like you changed the world. You changed my life. So yeah, that's how that conversation went down.
There's other investors were you saying something about like Mark Wahlberg is part of it?
Yeah, no, he's not part of the
okay.
Magic Mike thing. But we touched a little bit earlier about the studios that are coming here. Mark Wahlberg is, I don't want to say the head of Sony because that's the wrong, job description. But he's, I believe, in charge of I don't know what he's doing. But he's,
Yeah,
Well,
but a
he
certain
was an
aspect.
investor at first, and he was a part of the studio.
Yeah.
and it kind of didn't work out, so he ended up being like an
advisor,
advocate,
right?
advisor,
Yeah, that's-
advocate,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, so Mark Wahlberg is an advisor for Sony Pictures that's coming
shit.
here, and crazy as it is, I mean, I feel like we're name dropping a lot on this podcast,
Yeah.
but whatever, it's we're punching up in the
Yeah.
comedy world, right? So I got tipped off from a friend of mine that works at one of the casinos here that he was making an appearance the next day. So I saw my friend on a Friday night. He's like, yo, you're from Boston, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, Mark Wahlberg's going to be here pouring drinks, promoting his new tequila company, Flecha Azul.
Yeah.
Come by around 1 o'clock. I was like, oh, dude, I'm a huge Mark Wahlberg fan. I'm from Boston. And again, fanboy moment, you know, I had a Pain and Gain Sun Gym tank top that I had made, no joke, when the movie came out on Etsy back in like 2010.
Damn.
Never wore it. For some reason, I brought it with me to Vegas. Something tells me, hey, you should bring that tank top that you've never worn that's in the back of your closet to Vegas. This is 2 weeks before I meet the guy. My friend tips me off. I go to his tequila event, and the first thing I said to him was like, yo, bro, thank you for being a stud. And he looked up at me almost with confusion, but he was like, thanks, bro. And we locked eyes, and it was like I saw him in a movie, which was pretty cool. So anyways, I just said, hey, man, Pain and Gain is my favorite movie. And he was like, really? He's like, thank you so much. I pull out the tank top, and he was confused even more. He's like, why does this guy have a Pain and Gain tank top? I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah.
And then I showed it to him. He signed it for me. It was fantastic. I told him I was very interested in what he was doing with Sony Pictures. I gave him my card.
Yeah.
He did one of the, thank you very much. I'll give it to my guy, and I hope to hear from him soon.
That's fucking awesome.
But it was like I said, total fanboy moment.
Yeah.
And someday maybe other people will have fanboy moments with us, right? But that was like Channing Tatum and Mark Wahlberg are like my two biggest idols, and you know that's what makes Vegas so amazing as well. Is that you meet the right people, you start talking to the right guy at the right time. Next thing you know, you're meeting your idols.
Right. And those interactions are like amazing when they go the right way, right?
Priceless, absolutely priceless. And they don't always go the right way. I'm sure you've all met people that, you know, you throw out your best effort, like, hey, man, I really love your work. And they just kind of brush you off.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you might catch people at the wrong time, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, we're all just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Just trying to make something of ourselves.
Dudes and dudettes. Is there anyone you've met that you're just like, that was your all moment, your starstruck moment?
Starstruck?
Yeah, like just one of those people that you're like, dude.
Oh man, I can't think of
'Cause, I
one.
mean, you're in Vegas, so you've met a handful of people.
Floyd Mayweather was pretty cool the first time. Stevie Wonder, met Stevie Wonder in the airport. We peed next to each other.
Did he pee on you?
No, I did follow him. I took a Snapchat next to him. He was peeing.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
he reacted like he saw me. You know what I mean? And he started singing "Isn't She Lovely" in an airport
You're like,
live.
oh my gosh.
That was pretty cool.
It's clever. It's clever.
I think that'd be like the only one that was like odd though. You know what I mean? Like Stevie Wonder singing next to you out of nowhere.
Yeah. You saw him, he didn't see you, whatever.
I think he saw me.
I'm pretty sure he felt me.
Dude, can I tell you another crazy story? I
Yeah,
got to
let's
get this
do
one
it.
out on tape. You know, one time I was Mario Lopez's bodyguard.
That,
This is a shout out to Mario if you see this. I know you remember, and we'll bro down again soon. Swear to God. All right, crazy story again about being right place, right time. I'm living in New York City trying to be an actor, right? We touched on that earlier.
yeah.
I answered a call. They were looking for bartenders, but they wanted like, you know, actors because they wanted people to dress up and look good and just, you know, it was for a black tie gala is what it was in New York. So it was a fashion show, black tie gala. I show up and I'm in nice skinny black tie. I'm in like that partial tuxedo style suit. I look really good. I'm bartending, getting all set up. This guy comes up to me. He's the owner of the place. Little guy comes up to me. He was like, hey, you, come here. Pulls me out right into like the lobby area. Sizes me up and down. He's like, you used to fight? I'm like, yeah, a long time ago. He's like, I need a favor. I'm like, what's up? He's like, Mario Lopez is on his way right now. He's the host of this event. We don't have any security for him. I need you to be his bodyguard. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I need you to be Mario Lopez's bodyguard. He's like, you don't go back to the bar. He's like, you got to go outside and meet him at his livery car. So I go and meet out there to open the door for him, right? Because now I'm his security. He pulls up. He comes out in a cast. He just tore his
Achilles?
tendon.
Oh,
Yep.
shit.
He's in one of those air casts just towards Achilles tendon. And he's hobbling his way in. So, hey, Mario, nice to meet you. I'll be with you all night. Hey, nice to meet you. We go inside. He has to go do a photo shoot now with all the VIPs. So my job was to kind of stand there and just make sure everyone that came and took a photo with him had a ticket. So now we're going through this, and this is when I get to see what an amazing guy this guy is. So he looked up at me first, and he was like kind of gave me that up down, like, all right, I can vibe with this guy all night. He's pretty cool. So that was great, and I just introduced myself to him. We didn't really talk that much. So now I'm his bodyguard, and I have to like stand by him like this as we're going downstairs for him to get ready for his speech. And that's where the dinner table is. And that was my first time seeing a big celebrity and how people reacted. People were trying to touch him. I had to like use my body as a shield to keep people away from touching him. Like, that's all they wanted to do. It was the closest thing I'd ever seen to like those old Beatles videos.
Yeah.
You know, or Michael Jackson even, and Justin Bieber. You know, there was a couple people that just had that reaction. And people were just trying to grab him, scream him, Mario, trying to take pictures when he's not looking. So we get him now to the dinner table where he has to write a speech. Now, this is where I saw that this guy is the ultimate G. They come and just hand this guy a list of all the sponsors. Just never seen any of these names before. And he was like, what? And I could tell he was like really, you know, frustrated with like the whole night. He's got Raff Bibbo as a security guard. They handed him a sticky note with, you know, sponsor names. But he just like, he went down and he just learned everything, just systematically. And then he goes up there and like a G, just knocks out this 15-minute speech, thanking all the sponsors, telling everyone how great they are, getting everyone all motivated and excited for the event. He comes back down. He's like, all right, baby, we're done. Let's roll. I walk him back to his car, take a nice photo outside of his little livery car, and he goes on his way. And I never hear or see from him again. But I spent 3 hours side by side acting as his bodyguard when I showed up to an acting gig to be a bartender.
That's really fucking random. But that's awesome.
Bro, in like, I think 2018, Russ, you know Russ, the rapper? He had a concert in Hawaii at the Blaisdell. Went to the concert, great concert. Went to the after party at the club later. And I was kind of standing just random near the section where the rope was. And it kind of ended up being where his section was when he showed up to the club. One of his homies thought I was security. I was in the army at the time, so I'm like 220, real buff. And he's like, hey, let those girls in, they're cool. All right, so I opened up the velvet rope, let them in. I walked in, put the velvet rope closed. They had me pretty much bodyguard for him the whole night. He took me up to the stage and whatnot. They gave me shots in the back out of their bottle. It was sick.
That's awesome.
I didn't get a picture that night, but the next day, I see him at the mall in Ala Moana. Notices me. He comes over. We talked a little bit, took a couple pictures, and that was it.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
And that used to 2018, so now he's blown up.
Huge now.
Yeah,
now he's like, you know, 49ers Stadium, like 60,000 people, live concerts. He's blown up.
Yeah. And what that does for me, at least, and I'm sure you guys, it motivates me. When I see people that have this crazy success, I just want it. I want to be like it. I want to be around it.
It's infectious, right?
It really is. You know, and I'll be honest, some of these people are larger than life. Like Mario Lopez, you know, being around that guy, larger than life.
Famous for 30 years.
And he's such a good energy guy, right? Like, if you follow him like I do on the internet, on social media, he's got kids, a beautiful family. He works hard. He boxes. He does jujitsu. He's super active. I mean, and while we're talking about this, what he's done with his career is my ultimate dream goal, is that media personality. Like, you see how we're talking right now? How cool is this? How easy is it?
Best job in the world.
It's the best job in the world to just be yourself. Like you said, you're not reading a script. You're not following instructions or routines. You're just vibing with your boys.
Yeah.
And
now
it's a cool thing.
Dude, every time I turn on like basic cable, he's on almost every channel. He's on something.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, it's Mario Lopez.
Name a hotel TV he's not on.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. That's
Right?
Shit. Dude, that man, he's in a sense a jack of all trades, but with media, like, that's just his thing.
Yeah.
You know, he's phenomenally good at it, like you were talking about. I've had, because I commentate, so people are like, oh, I want you to read all these sponsors. Luckily, I'm behind the camera where you just hear my voice and I'm just reading it out. some of these I'm like, oh damn, I need to sound this out because I'm gonna mess up. Being able to do that on the spot and in a 15-minute speech too, it's like, yeah, for me again, I get punched in the head for a living. Like I'm gonna forget. So for him to be able to do that so many times, plus all the other things that he has to memorize outside of that one performance is ridiculous. But that's just me though.
It's crazy. It seems like everybody you look up to, they have a lot of duality to them. Like even Channing Tatum, right? Magic Mike to 21 Drum Street. Marky Mark to everything that he does now, right?
Ted.
Like Ted. What is it? What's the cop movie he's in for a little bit?
I just remember Four Brothers.
The other guys.
He did the other guys with Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah,
Right? Him and The Rock when they jump off the roof.
Yeah, that was, they're playing Creed and they're like falling to their death.
Yeah, but all these guys are so multi-talented. It's kind of showing that you don't have to go down one avenue and stick to that. And you're doing the same thing where you're like, yeah, I'm going down one avenue and I'm going to try my best to be as good as I can be. But once I feel that I can do other stuff, I have the opportunity, I'm going to just branch out and have some fun.
Yeah.
But also, again, enjoy myself and not make this life work. But also my work is enjoyable to me.
Yeah. There's an old saying. It's the jack of all trades, master of none. So that's the counter argument to that would be, is it good to just master one thing and be the best?
Mm-hmm.
Or, multifaceted, multi-talented. I want to stay busy.
Yeah.
That, and, I hate the, not ADD, they say that, whatever, just hyperactive. Just, staying on top of multiple things at once just keeps my mind straight.
Yeah.
Instead of going in circles.
What about you? You did military, you fought.
College football before that.
College football, you do a bunch of podcasts, a bunch of editing. What
Right.
else you do? You did security randomly.
Dad, for the most part now, that's kind of been my big shift.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I was just like, where is he? No.
But I mean, he's mostly everything now, from morning stuff to meals throughout the day, workouts in the afternoon, homework and everything, get him ready for the next day.
Yeah, man, it's being able to be multi-talented or just, be able to do all these things, especially during COVID where you're stuck and you can't really do all the things you wanted to do. All the moments were missed, opportunities gone, all that stuff. And it's like, what else can I do? And I have to keep myself not just busy, but happy as well. Because you can be busy, but if you're not happy, what the fuck are you doing it for?
Yeah.
You're in a sense internally or mentally killing yourself. So you're trying to do as many things as possible. Again, for me, I get punched in the face for a living, but I'm also, doing podcasts or trying to act and model, or now I'm trying to get into not, buying houses like that, but I'm trying to rent places, have properties, and trying to mix it up. So it's a process. I thought, when you're a little kid, I'm going to do this one thing. It's like, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a doctor. And then even if I was that, I still could do other things on the side and have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to help, to talk about being a fighter. And I'd like to help fighters, not as like a financial advisor, but almost as like, hey, did you think about this? Mm-hmm. Did you think about that? Because you guys are so focused on what you have to do, and it's just so exhausting of that lifestyle that you don't have time to be watching YouTube videos on how to flip properties and going to different seminars and taking these courses and getting these licenses and studying. So, and it's such an important part of life because, okay, like Arnold's a great example. I thought my whole life this dude made his fortune bodybuilding and doing movies. And then I watched a documentary. He was like, oh no, I was a multi-millionaire from selling real estate.
Yep, before you ever started a movie.
Really?
Yep. What's his name, the guy that brought him over?
That's a fun fact of the day.
Yep,
There
and
you
that's who taught him real estate.
Yeah. If you listen to Arnold, some of his speeches, or his documentary I watched, he talks about he was like a multi-millionaire. They were buying properties in Venice Beach and flipping them like well before.
Shit.
I want to say he had over 100 properties, but by the time he started acting, some crazy number like that.
Damn, I gotta start looking into that now.
Okay,
because I want to buy my first property coming up soon after Lazy Boys fight the Spear next weekend. Buy the property and then rent out one, Airbnb the other, and then I'm trying to hopefully get more. But like you're telling me stuff, and I want to ask you more personal questions outside where it's like, all right, equity, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Like I want to figure out the pros and cons and go like, all right, because like for me, I'm selling my car to buy this house or buy an apartment complex. I don't have money like that right now, and obviously there's always different ways to manipulate the system to buy a property. But for me, I'm not educated in that. I'm a hardcore fighter. This is my profession. That's it. But then when fighting doesn't go well, whether you get injured, your promotion doesn't, get you a fight anytime soon, or just life in general, what do you do to make money? And I looked at who's the guy who fought Khabib for the belt? Al Quinta?
Quinta.
Yeah, like he's a realtor.
Yeah.
And he was talking about he makes more money doing that than he ever did fighting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
times more.
And now he's killing it.
Now Aljo's selling houses with him, I think.
I think Jessica Penney does it as well.
Yeah.
She's another UFC veteran. So it's like these little things that can make you, a good amount of money long term as well is phenomenal, especially when you can't get punched in the face anymore, or you can't take those punches.
Yeah. The best, I guess, advice would be organize your time where you're like hedging your bets. So, perfect example, I'm working in a restaurant. I'm still bartending while I'm selling copies. I'm still selling copies while I'm getting my real estate license, right? I'm still trying, it's you got to get in. Yeah, you need income, and you need, so I guess like 70, 80% of your time has to go towards what's feeding your family and helping you survive. Mm-hmm. But putting that extra 20% into not watching, TV shows and whatnot, but learning about equity lines, interest rates, variable interest rates, APR, all these things that they help you so much. Just learning these tips, like a simple financial, literacy, not using a debit card and only using a credit card. Many reasons, like your debit card, they can take all your money and you can't file a claim as a dispute. You don't get any points on it. Whereas if you use a credit card, you get points. It's 1%. That lowers your interest rate if you match that number of what you spent on what you owe, right? There's just, and at the end, it's really just how you organize things in your brain, right? How you make sense of it in your mind. But it's very, very crucial to know these things because that's how you start to get ahead. Because, all right, we're talking about interest rates and this conversation, like you said, random. We're going all over the place here. But your average consumer doesn't know their interest rate or how much is interest and how much is principal of their payment. Your average consumer's never seen an amortization chart, which shows you your structured payments.
I've never even heard that word. So.
Yeah. So you take out a car loan, you're going to have payments, and it's going to show you the spread of principal and interest of what your monthly payment is. And it should do this, right? Because the principal gets paid and the interest, right? It's that kind of that pattern.
Heavy interest at first.
Heavy interest at first,
dude,
correct.
I'm the ADHD kid, so I'm just like,
Oh,
pay attention, pay attention.
No, and it's structured. The whole system is structured to take your money. As long as you know that, you can kind of go into it with open eyes. So when you apply for a loan, you're going to go buy this multifamily. The bank's going to be like, okay, you qualify for this much. But like always keep more money in your mind in the back of your head as available cash because that number is going to be like your bust number almost. It's like that's what you qualify at the most, with the bank making the most they can make on their principal interest rate monthly payment. So you start learning these things, and like the Corvette, for example, I bought that Corvette, right? That Corvette is a midlife crisis. That's all that is for me. That was,
It's a beautiful midlife crisis. Yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, I always wanted one. And especially when they came out with the 2020 versions, those new
C8s.
ones. The
Oh, they look
C8s,
phenomenal.
unbelievably beautiful. They look like a baby of a Lamborghini and a Ferrari.
Yeah, I was about to say Corvettes. We talked about this too. They used to be labeled as like the old man car.
Yeah.
But this is fucking awesome.
It's like a supercar basically.
Yeah.
It is at a third of the price, and you're not dropping 20 grand on an oil change. So yeah, I always wanted one, and I did a flip, and I got kind of burned on my last flip. I gutted a house, the rates tripled, so I had my equity line at 4%. It went to 8.5 overnight. So my like $4,000 or $5,000 a month payment went to like 12 or 13 grand or something like that. So when I took all my chips off the table, I made $60,000 on this one flip. It took me 2 years. So you can't live off that. That's 30 grand a year, right?
Yeah.
So I just took that money and I was like, fuck it, I'm buying a Corvette. And I put down the 60, financed the rest. And back to our conversation, it's at 8.5%. So I had to wait till I got the bill, then I had to shop around, refinance, find a place that doesn't have any fees, and I saved $5,000 over the course of the note. But that's what I'm talking about, financial literacy. If you don't know that, if you don't know the process, if you don't know how to do something like that, at the end of that note, you just blew $5,000 to a bank.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I could use an extra $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing is for your home loan, your credit cards. You got to understand the rates of your credit cards, right? It's so confusing, and not one teacher in my adolescence taught me any of this.
Right.
Well, yeah, they don't
Right,
teach us
of course.
really anything useful in school.
Nothing.
You using
useful.
trigonometry, calculus? Nope.
The Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah.
When
I think that one actually I was pretty good at it, but that was the only thing I was actually really good at. But
Yeah.
we don't use it.
Yeah, they don't, but they're not teaching you any of this important stuff. And it's like anything. I keep talking about these gradual lessons. I overdrafted the first time I had a bank account. I was paying $40 fees. I didn't know that. The first time I missed my credit card payment, and it went from no interest to 35%. And then my first credit card, my interest was more than my purchases. So like I've failed over and over again. I've had bank accounts where I left $2 in it. I've had like 4 or 5 bank accounts, different banks. There's like $2 in it. I don't even pay attention to it because I don't even open my statements. There's a minimum. Once it hits that minimum, they stop billing you, right? So it's like all these scams are just set up. And we're in Las Vegas. This is, the ultimate city that's designed to get your money, but it's in like a different way.
Yeah.
At least here, that gives you some hope.
Yeah.
They're selling you dreams for cash. The banks are just structuring things. Okay, another recent one. And this is going to really fry your mind when it comes to
Oh,
mathematics.
I'm already fried. But go ahead.
I'm going through the refinance process of my Corvette, and I'm looking at the interest and the principal of the monthly payment. And the interest I paid was like 80-something%. And I'm like, whoa. It didn't match the whole thing. So I like the whole structure of, and there's no amortization charts within this bank. They wouldn't give me one. So I go down to the bank and I start talking to them, and they explain that if you miss your first payment, which I did, that they calculate the interest of the days missed and they add it to the first month. So then I start and like anything, it's like a time bomb. Like I don't understand how I'm getting fucked in the moment. I have to go home and think about it.
Yeah.
So basically they hit me with 45 days worth of interest in a 30-day period to hit that spread. And the reason they did that is because if I paid off the loan, they're getting that extra 15 days worth of interest, right? And these are things that are like, who's thinking of stuff like this, right? Like you need to be a CPA, public accountant, or someone really deep into finance, a MBA or something like that, in economics to understand these things. And I'm just a, poor kid from Waltham, Massachusetts that flunked out of college, but as a necessity, okay, I hate getting punched in the face. Every time you get punched in the face, you learn not to, get punched in the face.
I try my best not to, but have you seen my fights, dude? I take a lot of fucking hits. But go right ahead.
Yeah, no. Every time a bank hits you for something, a late fee, an interest payment you weren't supposed to pay, a double charge, that's like getting punched in the face.
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid getting punched in the face as much as possible.
I try, but I got a big head.
And it doesn't like to move much.
It doesn't at all, dude. It usually moves because of the punches. But, that's from me actually getting hit. So with that all being said, what's the next big adventure for you?
I'm on it. My goal is to be it sounds so terrible, like self-serving, but I want to be the biggest movie star on the planet
Yeah.
for 1 week, right? There's a lot of them that have. I don't know who it is now, but like every week there's a movie that's #1, and there's a lead actor that has that #1 spot.
Hawk Tua.
Yeah.
Hawk Tua, she was the #1 of like all social media
Yeah.
memes.
She's making so much merchandise. She has her own
Appearance
podcast now.
fees. Like, it's
Yeah.
insane.
Do you think this will last?
I feel
I know
like it already has. To me.
she's pretty fun. Like she's not just some random girl that's like there's a meme. Like she has a personality.
Maybe
And
she
she's
won't
young.
be able to make 7 figures a year like she is right now on it, but I mean, with the type of notoriety and how viral she's gone, she's always going to be able to get something. She'll
Yeah,
at least
she's-
have 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people that are like buy tickets to something or buy merchandise to support her.
She might be on like an MTV or VH1 reality show later on. You know,
I
where,
think
like
she's been offered.
You know, where like the stars are not as popular as they once were, and they need this show to bring them back up, like Dancing with the Stars or something.
Okay.
So maybe you never know. But she's real fun. She's popular, and she's using her influence and taking full advantage of it. Like she's not just kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like she loves the spotlight.
Yeah.
And she's enjoying it.
I saw that come up, and I knew it was going to explode. The first time I saw it, I was like, this thing is going to go. And it was the first viral video I'd seen in a while. And it had been probably a couple, I don't know when the last one was before. Maybe the kid on the skateboard that was like drinking the
cranberry juice or
the
something?
cranberry juice.
That Mexican guy?
Oh,
Yeah.
the old dude, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and he
think
got
he's
sponsored by that. Yeah.
The last one that I can remember that.
Yeah,
that
and
was
he,
a viral
and he got
video.
sponsored by that company.
But that Hot
Ocean
Tour
Spray.
thing was like, it checked all those boxes. Like cute girl, Southern belle, blonde hair, extremely funny line, sexual overtones, or undertones, both.
Yeah.
It's pretty in your face.
Yeah.
Not the
The spit or the
yeah, exactly.
But dude, it's I'm happy to see that you're doing your thing. I know you moved everything from Boston all the way out here. You've been here for a few months already. He's been like you again, you know so many people. He knows all these promoters, he goes to all these events and just he enjoys himself. Like you do everything to the fullest from what I can see. And obviously it's a pleasure having you on the show and just getting to know you because not just with the knowledge you have, but just as a person. Like you're naturally so positive that's why I also think your networking pool is so big. No one wants to hang out with some guy that's like, cool, whatever. Like, it's just negative energy. You are like, again, we hung out and then we had lunch, like, I think a couple days after.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this guy's fucking awesome. Yeah, let's go do whatever.
Yeah.
And then we've hung out a few times after that, and then obviously now I have my show. I have you on. Like, you're a fun personality, and that's why I especially wanted to bring you on here because naturally you're so positive and you're so naturally motivational. Even if it doesn't work, you're just like, dude, you can do it. Like whether you believe you can do it or not, you can do it. Come on, just fucking try it. If it doesn't work, well, let's go do something else. But let's keep on going. Whoever, and you're a good example of that. Not just your car, not just your business stuff, but just you as a person. You're naturally so positive. So I think it's fucking awesome. I just appreciate you being here and networking with me as well and helping me out as much as you do.
No, thank you so much. I love that you said all those things because that's what I'm inadvertently going for is just being a ball of light in a world of darkness. Yeah. But let me say, too, the reason we hit it off is because you're such an incredible person. I don't like spending time with people that aren't doing things that are bigger than themselves, that aren't on paths that are with a trajectory going up. You talked about positivity. You're a super positive guy, too, man. You got a nice, subtle humor about it.
I try my best.
But no, I don't, in short, I don't waste my time with losers. If I'm going to bet on a horse, I want him to be a winner.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. And there's a lot of really good people out there too. If you just kind of let your guard down and.
And that's how I met Justin. I let my guard down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here now. He's helped me out a lot too. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be doing the show. Like he does all the work. I just talk shit. Like he does everything. I call him and I just feel like I'm bitching at him. I'm like, where the fuck is the damn real? But it's a cool thing. And again, I appreciate you being here. I feel like this is just a very positive episode now. Like I feel good.
We're also gay.
And we're canceled. But for the people following you, how can they follow you on social media, any other platforms, Instagram, Twitter, anything else?
Yep. Check me out at Raff Bibbo, RAFFBIBBO. So that'll be on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And then if you check out and you want to see some of the houses I've built, go to moderndollhouse.com. That's the brokerage that I started, Modern Dollhouse. Nice. A lot of the homes in New England, they have that old Victorian kind of dollhouse look. So it was a play on words.
Yeah.
First house I built, a couple of the neighbors were like, oh, it looks like a beautiful dollhouse. So yeah, check out
built from there.
Modern Dollhouse. You see some of the finishes I do. But entertainment is obviously my passion and where I'm, taking this rocket ship. So at Raff Bibbo, I play pretty much every instrument as well. So there's some cool music videos up there too.
Oh, fuck yeah. Dude, you do everything. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You got a rap name?
I don't, but we should think of one. Because
No, put it on the Wu-Tang generator like Childish Gambino. That's how Donald Glover ended up getting his name, Childish Gambino. He put it on a Wu-Tang rap name calculator. And it ended up, putting out Childish Gambino, and that ended up being his rap name.
Mm.
So there you go. Fun fact, if you didn't know, that's how random the show is.
Raffy B. I like Raffy B.
Raffy B.
Raff B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't it B Rabbit?
Ooh.
Oh,
that was B Rabbit
Yeah.
and Raffy B.
our Bibbo. We figure it out.
We'll
We can
figure it out. Yeah.
But that's dude. I appreciate you. You know, I'm glad to have you on the show. I appreciate you too.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I was like, what handshake are we doing today? Because we did the Mexican one. We threw up some gang signs by accident, earlier. But dude, I appreciate you. I can't wait to see what's next for you. Hopefully, we do another comedy show soon. And dude, that was another episode of the Shorty Show. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
See you guys.